What's up everyone? As usual, Anime Update channel is back and will give the updates about anime world. In this video, we will discuss about anime Boruto episode 217 entitled Decision. But before that, don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe so that Anime Update channel will continue to improve in providing info and updates. Let's get right into the video. In the previous episode entitled Sacrifice, Isshiki intended to use Boruto as a sacrifice for the 10 tails so that the god tree can grow and produce high-class chakra fruit. Despite the fact that Isshiki couldn't kill Boruto, Isshiki didn't hesitate to injure Boruto until his arm broke and his body couldn't move anymore. He thinks this treatment is necessary so that Boruto can't fight back, and to obey everything he says. While Sasuke had suffered a crushing defeat from Isshiki where he was rendered unconscious due to receiving such a strong attack from Isshiki, Naruto, who had run out of options because he realized his current strength had no chance of defeating Isshiki, chose the decision to use the last and strongest mode Kurama has, Baryon Mode. If Kurama Mode and Sage of Six Paths use chakra borrowed from Kurama or Hagoromo, Baryon Mode utilizes Naruto and Kurama's pure chakra, so they combine their chakra to produce new and much more powerful energy. Kurama said that Baryon Mode is very strong and suitable to be a counter for Otsutsuki. But from a powerful technique, that means the price to be paid to be able to use this technique is also quite high. Kurama said both himself and Naruto would die as soon as the use of this technique was over. Naruto as Hokage would have been ready to face the risk to save his village, even though his own life was the price for it. Baryon Mode was activated, and a thick fog that covered the view. Such a huge aura also emanated from the thick fog that made all who saw it feel surprised by the chakra changes possessed by Naruto. In this episode, entitled Decision, it is told how Naruto chooses the hardest decision in his life, where he uses Baryon Mode regardless of the side effects that will result, and has a final battle with Isshiki that determines their life and death. Naruto himself is certain to die after using Baryon Mode, as Kurama said about the side effects of this mode. Meanwhile, Isshiki is not certain dead because Kurama did not promise Baryon Mode can defeat Isshiki, but at least this power can match Otsutsuki with his godlike power. When the thick that blocked their view of Naruto dissipated, the appearance of Naruto's new transformation was shown to be badass, and gave off quite a pressure aura due to the massive flow of chakra from his body. Naruto's body, which usually shrouded in an orange to yellowish glow, was replaced by a deep red color that was in stark contrast to Naruto's clothes, and formed a mantle around his body with a tail protruding from behind. Naruto's eye and hair pattern also looks like Kurama's, where the area around his eyes turns black, and stretches upwards like a fox's ears. In addition, the Uzumaki logo is also clearly visible with the Kurama tail spinning on his chest, indicating the fusion between the two. For some people, the word Baryon may sound quite strange. But there is a special reason why Kurama chose to use the name Baryon for this last strongest mode. Kurama analogizes Baryon Mode to a nuclear reaction that occurs in the sun. The two fuels in the sun collide and mix, creating a huge new energy. The sun produces a lot of energy, but it also requires a lot of fuel as well. This is the same as Baryon Mode. The effects of Baryon Mode will increase Naruto's speed, resistance, attack power, and reflexes very high. But on the one hand, the chakra from Naruto and Kurama continues to be absorbed in large quantities every second of its use. So, based on the chemical reaction and the similarity of the nature of this mode, Kurama named this mode as Baryon Mode. Naruto and Isshiki looked at each other, feeling that this would be the last battle for the two of them. But at that time the two of them seemed to be waiting for each other, because Naruto was still not used to his new transformation, while Isshiki still didn't know the true power of Naruto's transformation. Isshiki doesn't want to underestimate his opponent as much as he underestimates Kashin Koji, which causes him to be reincarnated using Jigen's imperfect body. Isshiki really did not expect that Naruto still had an ace card which he thought had enormous power, because the aura that radiated was so great, and very intimidating. Apparently not only Isshiki, who was surprised by the changes that occurred in Naruto, Sasuke, who was his best friend from childhood, never knew that Naruto had this mode, while Boruto was silent in amazement at the magnitude of his dad's strength. Slowly, the flow of chakra released by Naruto made Isshiki feel very intimidated, and a little worried about the changes that had happened to Naruto. As a result, Isshiki immediately rushed towards Naruto and tried to launch an attack very quickly. Naruto only reacted by staring at Isshiki, without moving an inch from his spot. Surprisingly, Naruto, who had never previously managed to throw a single punch at Isshiki, managed to dodge a little without moving from his spot and hit Ishiki's back first, causing Ishiki's body to fall to the ground. Sasuke and Boruto, who witnessed this, were very surprised, because so far none of their attacks had been able to hit Isshiki, let alone make his body fall on the ground. While Isshiki was surprised, he felt that it was just luck for Naruto. But Naruto at that time didn't move at all from his place, so this made Isshiki furious because he felt humiliated, and then tried to launch a counterattack from the side. This time Naruto just dodged without looking at Isshiki, as if he could know Ishiki's whereabouts without seeing, as well as wanting to know how far the power of this Baryon Mode was. Ishiki's anger grew even more because Naruto didn't give the fight he wanted. While continuing to attack Naruto, Isshiki shouted so that Naruto wouldn't keep dodging, and fight him as he should. At that moment Naruto gave Isshiki a crushing blow in the face so hard that it made Isshiki lose his balance and fall. Naruto was still in a fighting pose, not moving an inch from his spot, wanting to conserve energy as best he could. Meanwhile Isshiki immediately got up, and then wiped the blood that came out of his mouth with the typical Otsutsuki clothes he was wearing. The fight between Naruto and Isshiki, which initially very bad, where Naruto himself was not sure that he could beat Isshiki, has now become the opposite, where this fight is like a child's game for Naruto, who takes over the course of the fight. Isshiki with his god power is rendered helpless by Naruto with his Baryon Mode. Many times Isshiki had to receive a crushing blow from Naruto, while Naruto was completely untouched by the attacks launched by Isshiki. This made Ishiki's emotions increase because he did not expect that a creature he considered low like Naruto could corner him into this. Even Sasuke, who watched Naruto and Ishiki's fight from afar, judged that Naruto's current strength was on a higher level than Ishiki's. Isshiki kept thinking, where did Naruto get the power that could turn the situation and circumstances into a turn like this? This is where for the first time Isshiki felt horror because he realized the difference in the power he currently had with Naruto's new strength. The last time Isshiki felt horror in his life was 1000 years ago, where Isshiki was on the verge of death due to the betrayal by Kaguya. Because melee attacks didn't work very well against Naruto, who had been just waiting for his movement, Isshiki used his Sukuna Hikona Dojutsu to take out more cubes and 2 times much bigger than before. Unreasonable things keep happening to Naruto with Baryon Mode. Still not moving an inch from where he was, Naruto used his chakra tails to hold the cubes as if they were without the slightest burden. Even though the pressure from the giant cubes even destroyed the surrounding area, and sent Boruto's body lying helplessly. Luckily Sasuke quickly moved, and helped Boruto before his body bounced further and might hurt him. Not only that, Isshiki was even more surprised when Naruto with his chakra arm threw the cube at Isshiki. Isshiki, who saw this, was very surprised, because no one should be able to withstand the power of the cube, let alone be able to throw it like Naruto did. Due to the cube being too big, Isshiki couldn't shrink it all of a sudden, and chose to dodge by flying to higher ground. Surprisingly, Naruto suddenly appeared behind Ishiki's body, and kicked him in the back so hard that Ishiki's body bounced off and caused great damage to the surrounding area. On the other hand, Sasuke and Boruto could only watch the 2 people with the power of the monster and couldn't do anything about it. If they interfere, they will only become an obstacle for Naruto, and it is not impossible that they are the ones who are affected by Naruto and Ishiki's attacks. With his body starting to be filled with wounds, Isshiki with anger immediately rushed towards Naruto, resulting in another close-range battle between the Baryon Mode user and the Otsutsuki. In this fight Isshiki is more aggressive and constantly tries to hit Naruto hard, while Naruto is more defensive by focusing on counter-attacks against Ishiki's attacks. Like Earth and Sky, the difference in strength between them looks very significant, where Isshiki is not able to throw a single punch at Naruto in Baryon Mode, while Naruto repeatedly manages to hit Isshiki until his body is covered with wounds. Isshiki was very annoyed by the situation, and tried to keep his distance so that he could take the momentum to attack Naruto. For the umpteenth time, Isshiki used his Sukuna Hikona to attack Naruto with a large amount of chakra rods, and very quickly. Unexpectedly Naruto was able to catch the chakra rod with his bare hands, which Sasuke himself with his Rinnegan and Sharingan could not see the movement of the chakra rod, which was too fast. Isshiki couldn't hide his shock by showing his wide-open mouth, because he didn't expect Naruto's current strength to be so different from before, with just one transformation. While in Konoha, where Kawaki is hidden in Anbu Root's headquarters, Kawaki can't hide his anxiety towards Naruto and the others. Kawaki continued to stare at the prosthetic arm that was being energized by Naruto's chakra, while hoping that the Hokage would be okay. For the first time in his life, Kawaki felt a warmth he had never received from Naruto, and at this moment he couldn't imagine what his life would be like without Naruto. Apparently Kawaki's anxiety was realized by Amato, who tried to start a conversation by asking about the prosthetic arm that Kawaki was using. But Kawaki completely ignored Amato's words, because schemes about his life without the Hokage started popping up in his head. Even though Kawaki wanted to throw those thoughts away, in reality Kawaki couldn't lie to his feeling if he was very worried about Naruto's safety, who he considered like his own biological father. Meanwhile, Katasuke, as the person who had created the prosthetic arm, replaced Kawaki to answer Amato's questions. Katasuke said that the prosthetic arm was originally created only for the Hokage's personal use, so it would only react with Naruto's chakra. Amato was surprised to hear Katasuke's statement, and wanted to hear more about this. Katasuke continued that the 7th Hokage had shared his chakra with Kawaki, so the prosthetic arm would continue to function 24 hours. Basically Naruto continuously uses his chakra so that the prosthetic arm used by Kawaki can continue to operate. Amato did not expect this, and felt that the Hokage's kindness has no end. Remembering that Amato is a scientist who has modified the entire body of Kara's members with scientific ninja tools, Sumire asks whether Amato can restore Kawaki's lost right hand, as a result of protecting the Hokage from Delta's beam attack. Amato confidently said that he could certainly restore Kawaki's right hand, and that it would be his first assignment in Konoha after all this was over. Kawaki, who had been silent for a while because he was worried about the Hokage's safety, was suddenly surprised by what had happened to his prosthetic arm. Kawaki's anxiety seemed to come true, because he felt the Hokage's chakra flow getting weaker. Little by little the light in Kawaki's arms seemed to be dimming, making everyone who witnessed this feel confused about what was happening. Kawaki didn't want to admit this, but he raised the arm, and then said that the Hokage's chakra was getting weaker, as if his chakra was being absorbed very quickly. When Isshiki thought about where Naruto got this immense power that was able to turn things around 180 degrees, at that moment Naruto's body seemed to go limp. Chakra and aura that previously felt very large, now feels increasingly thin. The side effects of Baryon Mode began to show where Naruto's chakra decreased drastically, and he began to have difficulty controlling his breath. Both Sasuke, Boruto, and Isshiki were confused by what had happened. Naruto, who was previously untouchable to Isshiki, now looks very weak, where he looks very difficult to regulate his breath. Meanwhile Boruto, who had just watched his father fight Isshiki in a weak lying condition, suddenly felt his consciousness begin to disappear as the effects of fatigue and pain all over his body. Even though Boruto tries to stay awake and wants to scream for his father, Boruto in the end is unable to maintain his consciousness, and he collapses without being able to witness his father's fight against Isshiki to the end. Sweat started pouring from Naruto's body, and he didn't expect that the energy used was so much faster than he imagined, despite him trying to use as little energy as possible. Naruto felt that he didn't have much time left, and he had to end this as soon as possible before the effects of Baryon Mode ended. Seeing Naruto's extreme decrease in chakra, Isshiki realized one thing that had been a big question in his mind: where did Naruto get that much power with just a transformation? From his observations, Isshiki concluded that the way Naruto's transformation worked was like a gamble. Naruto gets a tremendous boost in his abilities and power, but in return Naruto's life energy will be absorbed every second of use. Basically Naruto gets a boost in various aspects, but at a high cost in the form of his own life, while Naruto is just silent because Isshiki has realized how Baryon Mode works. Isshiki confidently said that Naruto had made the wrong decision and lost the bet, then moved slowly towards Naruto to end the game. But when Isshiki walked closer to Naruto, something unexpected happened. Not only Naruto's body weakened, but Isshiki also began to feel himself weaken, where he felt excruciating pain all over his body, and vomited blood. At that moment Ishiki's body felt very weak, and he couldn't hold his weight until his body fell. Isshiki certainly felt confused about this, because during his fight with Naruto, Isshiki did not receive a fatal attack from Naruto. Again Isshiki felt that the Hokage was playing with him, and he screamed asking what Naruto had done to make him vomit blood for the first time like this. This time it was Naruto's turn to smile, and say that the real game had just begun, to show who died first between the two of them. In addition to the power to shrink objects, Ishiki's Sukuna Hikona Dojutsu can also see his own lifespan. It was from here that Isshiki finally realized that his previous lifespan could only last 2 to 3 days, now only had less than 30 minutes left. Knowing this, The events of 1,000 years ago repeated itself, where Isshiki felt a tremendous fear because he was now on the verge of death. Meanwhile, Kurama said that as a payment for their reduced lifespan, anyone who was hit by Naruto's attack would also have their lifespan reduced little by little, so it would be very useful to fight Isshiki, who only had a few days left. But Kurama also said that the two of them would not be able to win from Isshiki, because Kurama believed Naruto would die first, before Isshiki was defeated as a result of the huge drawback of Baryon Mode. Therefore Kurama told Naruto not to think about how he could kill Isshiki, but think about how Naruto could attack Isshiki, like a boxer aiming for victory by decision. The title of this episode, entitled Decision, is due to Kurama's words that motivate Naruto to win through decision, despite their shortcomings in a shorter lifespan than Isshiki. It doesn't matter whether the attack is strong or not, Kurama wants Naruto to continue to launch attacks, which is useful for cutting Isshiki's lifespan before Naruto and Kurama's lives run out. Unlike before where Isshiki was more focused on the offensive, this time Isshiki has realized how Baryon Mode works, and decided to go more into defensive mode by avoiding various attacks launched by Naruto. But because at that time both of their chakra was both running low, the fight between the two was so chaotic and messy. Isshiki has a hard time dodging Naruto's attacks, while Naruto attacks Isshiki carelessly, regardless of being strong or not. Isshiki realized that he couldn't keep dodging, so he tried several times to counter Naruto's attacks, to force Naruto to back off due to his injuries. As the effects of their chakra almost exhausted, the fight between the two, which was initially superior to Naruto, now became balanced where they both managed to throw blows against each other. This fight is no longer about a matter of strength, but about a matter of endurance, to show who lasts longer, and who dies first. While Naruto and Isshiki exchanged blows, Sasuke could only watch this from afar while guarding the unconscious Boruto, and noticed that Naruto's chakra was slowly depleting. Naruto himself was well aware of that, and because of that he was relentlessly throwing punches at Isshiki, be it using his head, jabs, kicks, or by utilizing his chakra tail. The climax of this fight was when Naruto managed to kick Isshiki, and then fell on his body while hitting his face many times. In this situation Isshiki felt the most dangerous moment in his life, because at this moment he realized that his lifespan was getting thinner with every hit that hit him. Isshiki then replied by tightly gripping Naruto's neck, and turned things around. This time it was Naruto's turn to be cornered, because no matter how he tried to fight back, he couldn't escape Isshiki's powerful grip. Even though the situation had turned around, Isshiki felt that it was already too late, because his current lifespan only had less than 5 minutes left. Either way, Isshiki had to prepare the vessel in the remaining 5 minutes of his life. Meanwhile Naruto laughed, realizing Isshiki's lifespan had been very thin. Naruto taunted Isshiki by saying that it was too late, and this was a victory for him. Isshiki's emotions seemed to be provoked, and he then grabbed Naruto's neck so tightly that Naruto screamed in pain. When Isshiki gripped Naruto's neck tightly, Isshiki was surprised because he felt a familiar chakra flow. There was no doubt that the chakra Isshiki felt was Kawaki's chakra, which was connected through the prosthetic arm. Isshiki immediately laughed, thus making Naruto and Sasuke feel confused by Isshiki's attitude at the end of his life. Isshiki confidently said that the one who would survive would be Otsutsuki, and this battle would be a victory for him, not a lowly being like Naruto. While Isshiki's right hand was still tightly gripping Naruto's neck, his left hand was pointing somewhere, which then formed a portal that connected the dimension with the prosthetic arm used by Kawaki. Indirectly, the portal will drag Kawaki away to the dimension where Naruto and Isshiki are. The people who were assigned to guard Kawaki at that time were of course very surprised by this, and did not have time to react because the portal formation and the transfer of Kawaki's body happened so quickly. Kawaki's appearance in that dimension gave Naruto goosebumps all over, because if Kawaki were here, the efforts he had made using Baryon Mode would be shattered. While Kawaki was confused about what had happened, Isshiki thanked Naruto for lending Kawaki his prosthetic arm, so Isshiki could detect Kawaki's presence and drag him by force into this dimension. If the Karma Seal is successfully implanted back into Kawaki's body, then the destruction of the shinobi world is certain, because there will be no power that can hold Isshiki with its full strength. On the other hand, Boruto, who had been unconscious for a while, suddenly opened his eyes. But it's not the real Boruto, but Momoshiki who has completely controlled Boruto's body. In conclusion, this episode will show an epic battle between nobles from Otsutsuki against Naruto with the last mode he has, Baryon Mode. As a result of the Baryon Mode transformation, Naruto was able to provide resistance to Isshiki, even far beyond him. However, the price paid for this Baryon Mode technique is quite large, where Naruto's chakra will be absorbed continuously every second of its use. As a result, both Naruto and Isshiki's condition became very weak, and they were already on the verge of death. However, in the last 5 minutes of Isshiki's life, an unexpected thing happened where Kawaki was forced to appear using a dimensional portal through a prosthetic arm connected to Naruto's chakra. Kawaki's appearance in this dimension is a misfortune that could bring all of Naruto's efforts to waste, or maybe it could be a key to victory for Naruto and the others. That's all for news updates from Anime Update Channel. What do you think about this video? Give your opinion in the comments below. And if you like this video, don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss updates about the anime world. Thanks for watching, see you next time.